Boston Bruins said, we're not packing yet. Edmonton Oilers said, we're not packing yet either. Both teams extend to game six. One of these teams, or probably both teams, have a chance to go to game seven. Welcome to Hockey Playoff Edition. I am Miguel Medina. I have my guy back here, Jim Berringer. Jim, how's it going, man?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing? I'm good. It's glad to be back here talking some hockey, playoff hockey. We got one team looking could wrap it up in game six, could be another game seven. Got two teams staying alive, extending it. Great to see. More playoff hockey, the better. More nights of three games until we don't have any. I'll keep taking it. That's why, again, Gary Bettman says the best first round in all playoffs in all sports because you just don't know what's going to happen each night. You think teams are going to able to close it out, and they don't find a way. And let's not forget, I know you covered it already, but think about this: Pittsburgh Penguins down 3-0. It's 3-2 now. All pressure's on Philly.
Yep, I said that. Where was I said? I think I said it on social media, or I'm forgetting. I mean, because I post so much every single day. But that's basically the headline that I wrote about that series. The pressure is on the Flyers. The pressure's on them. Game six, they have to win. So, but that's why I love the first round in any sport, in particularly hockey, because you just don't know what's gonna happen. And when it's all said and done, Jim, in my opinion, Montreal Tampa series will go down as a classic. This is a series we're gonna look back 10 years um and say, yo, we was there when we saw that series because those first three games, game four was good, but those first three games, just electric.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the two games at the Bell Center were unbelievable. The atmosphere, Yvonne Cornway comes out with the flame, then you have Serge Savard, place was rocking. You know, if Tampa goes on to win the series, you could say Game Four is their turning point. But I think Montreal, the way it's just that it's two evenly matched teams. Like when we'll talk about Minnesota, Dallas too, it's two evenly matched teams. It's been like this all season, and this is why it's probably the best series of the. And again, no disrespect to Vegas and Utah and other series that I've mentioned on social media, but Montreal and Tampa has just been the most entertaining series to watch.
Indeed, and I'm really enjoying that Utah Vegas series, by the way.
A great
Uh,
series.
yeah, and I covered for Utah last year for Fansided, so it has a I have a special attachment to Utah Mammoth, but I'm really enjoying that series. But Oilers, Jim, I had a feeling they were gonna win Game Five at home. I didn't think that they were gonna go out like that. Leon Draisaitl had a big game with two goals. I like how the Oilers they set the tone in the first period with those three goals. Take it from there.
Yeah, so obviously Chris Knobloch before the game kind of made some noise. Connor McDavid didn't skate in the morning skate ahead of game five. He's like, oh, he's a game time decision. And look, I talked to some people like immediately after, and I'm like, he's playing, and everybody's like, yeah, he's playing. He's not gonna have a season end with him sitting in the press box. That's not who Connor McDavid is. And I think we're going to see more and more of it that McDavid probably take if he's battling an injury. We saw it with Matthew Tkachuk last year with the Florida Panthers and other guys. Guys are going to just take the morning skate off if they have nagging injuries so they could be 100% for game time. And I don't expect Connor McDavid to take the morning skate if they have one in Anaheim. I'd be shocked just because it seemed he looked like his best. He'd had the morning off. He's just been relaxing, just resting, recovering. I wouldn't be shocked to see that he's going to go out there. McDavid looked like himself, played like 24 minutes, played really well. Draisaitl, and again, Chris Knobloch changed the lines up, went nuclear with McDavid and Draisaitl on the top line. They add Hyman, Podkolzin. That was really RNH. That was a good line. But when you load up the top line to go get offense, the other three lines can commit to playing defense. Jason Dickinson and Connor Murphy were paired together. Murphy on D, Dickinson is their center. They locked down everybody else. They kind of played a matchup game trying to stop Cutter Gauthier. Their penalty kill still gave up a goal, but the Oilers' power play, which has been electric, and one of the reasons why they've gone deep in the playoffs before, looked good. Connor Ingram made the saves when he needed to, and Evan Bouchard probably had his best game in the playoffs. You knew the Edmonton Oilers, if they were going to lose this series, was not going to lose it on home ice, not in front of that crowd. And now Anaheim felt the pressure of what it's like to close out a series up 3-1. We've seen the Oilers do this before, but I've always said this isn't the same Oilers team that came back from 3-0. But they have it in them when they want to play defense and when they want to commit to playing the right way. They're a very tough team to beat, and Anaheim found out about that in Game 5.
Looking forward to Game 6, see if Edmonton has a response to win on the road. That crowd is going to be rocking, so let's see if they can keep the momentum. Now, Bruins, Jim, we know how the Boston Bruins are in the postseason. This is, we just can never count out the Bruins. It doesn't matter who's on the roster. Historically, in the postseason, you never want to disrespect them in any round. So they won Game 5, and I remember, I think it was after Game 3, I believe it was, after Game 2 or Game 3, we both basically agree that the Bruins were outplaying the Sabres. It's like the Sabres heard us, quietly they heard us, and they said, "Oh, really? We're gonna show the two of you, Mister Hockey Playoff Edition, Mike and Jim, saying that the Bruins are outplaying us. All right, we're gonna get this, we're gonna get that, but they're gonna have to prove themselves again." Now in Game 6, since they lost Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, look, David Pastrnak, great. I mean, big goal in overtime, right? Bruce Cassidy on the TNT panel, his former coach called him, said Pasta's going to get it. He did. Jeremy Swayman was the story of Game 5 for me. I mean, Alex Lyon played great for Buffalo too, but Boston slowed the game down, played it to their style, played a defensive game, committed to getting pucks deep. Offense was at a premium, kind of slowed everybody down. The Osterlund injury is huge for the Buffalo Sabres. But again, a young team at home, the energy. Again, they haven't been here in a while. It's just, it's different when you try. At first, it's easy to get 3-1, 3-0. It's different when you have to try to close out a series. That fourth win, they always say, is the toughest for a reason. Boston doesn't go away. Yes, you could say it was close on the overtime goal. It was. It was a heck of a pass that went up to Pastrnak, but Swayman made a save beforehand. Like I said, Jeremy Swayman, for pretty much, I mean, again, and it wasn't his fault in Game 4 when he got blown out. He played pretty well. I mean, defensively, the Bruins were just not good, and Swayman let his teammates hear it on the way out. He's a competitor. And then the goal in Game 3, Alex Tuch, that's a late goal. It could have gone either way. That one said in overtime. Like I said, I thought Boston played for a majority of Games 1 and 2. I thought they were the better team. Probably should have been up 2-0 going home. Wasn't. Now they're down 3-2. You can't count out the Boston Bruins. I think you're probably going to get their best performance of the playoffs on home ice. I would not expect anything different. Now, with that being said, I'd give more of an edge to Boston if this game was being played Thursday instead of Friday. I think the 2 days off might help the Buffalo Sabres just reset them and refocus and just let the Jets cool, because sometimes if they're playing Thursday, maybe Boston feeds off that momentum right away. Again, you never know with that. It can change. It's momentum's game to game. But sometimes you come off a big win like that and you play a day later. That's huge because then your starts are, your start's different. So we'll see with the 2 days off. Let's see what happens in Game 6. But, Boston played really well.
Momentum is a real thing in sports. For those of you who don't think that it's a myth or it's a false narrative, no, momentum is serious. It could be whether it's an injury or player getting hot, weather conditions, days off, you know, anything like that could. If you guys don't believe how momentum doesn't play a factor in sports, especially in the postseason, take a look at, and this is not a hockey, this is for baseball. Take a look at the 2016 World Series Game 7. If you guys saw
Yeah.
that Game 7, come on. And I was rooting for the Cubs to win the World Series, but I believe in my heart that if it wasn't for that rain delay, Cleveland would have won that game. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I believe they could have won. But things like that does happen.
Oh, yeah,
So,
no, 100%. I agree with you on that.
and last but not least, Jim, Minnesota Wild, they got another win on the road against Dallas. They won 4-2. I just have a great amount of respect for teams that they can go on the road and not just win one game, but win more than once in a playoff series, especially against a good team like the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, it was a great game for Minnesota Wild, right? They had a solid game plan. Jesper Wallstedt played unbelievable heading into that game. He was excellent all night. Again, the issue for the Dallas Stars is they cannot score 5-on-5. They continue to rely on their power play. Now, is it Mikko Rantanen time for the Dallas Stars in Game 6? He needs to show up. He has kind of been quiet all series. We know what he did in the playoffs last year. He took over against Colorado, starting Game 6, carried into Game 7. Like we understand how big Mikko Rantanen is in a playoff performance. Jason Robertson continues to score goals. He's not an issue. Look, 8 straight games with a goal. Right, Heiskanen's there. They're playing well. No Rupe Hintz is huge. They had a big injury to one of their centers. I expect Michael Bunting to be in. But kudos to the Minnesota Wild, one of the biggest games of their season, probably in the history of that franchise. You go on the road, you get a big 4-2 victory. Now, it was funny because I kind of foreshadowed the final score. So I was working on something, and I heard Michael McCarron scored, and I tweeted out, oh, Michael McCarron made it 4-2, and then I looked up, oh, it's 3-1. And so I fixed it on my Twitter, and then the final score was 4-2. So I'm like, a little foreshadowing, making fun of myself. But Michael McCarron's been a great addition, character guy for the Minnesota Wild. Obviously, Matt Zuccarello coming back into the lineup, and now all of a sudden the power play is clicking. Like that's what he does. He steps up in the playoffs. Quinn Hughes, difference maker. Matt Boldy, another big goal. The big guns for the Minnesota Wild delivered. Not like Jake Ottinger had a bad game, but Dallas, they got to find their game 5-on-5 because they're being outplayed by the Minnesota Wild right now. And if they can't find a goal 5-on-5, I don't know how they extend this series to 7.
Yep, I agree. Jim, thank you so much for joining to do Hockey Prep Edition with me. Um, Safe travels to Montreal again, because I know you're going back there. Hopefully, um, the second time will be much more better than the first one because we always want to make sure that the experience is so much better and the games are much better. But before I let you go, what are your predictions for tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, I think momentum is a real thing. I saw it in Game 4. Obviously, the big hit by Crozier and Slavkovsky was it, but the fact that Tampa was able to build off it with the Getzel goal late and then carry it over into the third period, get an early goal like that to me is like that. Early goals, late goals are a real thing. It really changes momentum in a game. But as far as tonight's go, look, I think Montreal is going to go into Tampa, and I think they're going to win. I think they're a good team. I think that I expect the top line to finally get going for the Montreal Canadiens. I would not be shocked to see some lineup tweaks for the Montreal Canadiens. Just this time, they need to give Tampa a different look. But Tampa is not going to go away. I expect this to be another 1-goal game. If it's a 2-goal game, it's maybe an empty netter lead. I don't. Montreal's played against Tampa really well. As far as, look, I've been really impressed with the way the Utah Mammoth played against the Vegas Golden Knights. I really have. I don't. I said heading into the series, I said I had Utah. I think they could beat anybody that won the Pacific Division. I'm still standing on it. I'm not backing off of it. I like the Utah Mammoth on the road. Think they've shown they can play in Vegas. I just think they have to just learn how to lock down games because they've blown 2 leads in the third period. And if it wasn't for that, they're probably up 3-1 on the Vegas Golden Knights. So I like Utah. And as far as, look, I'm going to say it. I mean, people in Philly might not like it, but Sidney Crosby's got that look. And when Crosby's got that look, and we talk about momentum, they're playing every other day right now. And except I think Game 7 will probably be Saturday. So, but look, Pittsburgh's tying the series. Crosby's going to go into Philly and make sure this series goes on. He's playing on a different level right now, and the Flyers have to learn to all right, we've learned the previous 2 times what it is to try to put a team away. You can give a game away. You gave 2 games away. The pressure is on Philadelphia to win Game 6 because if they don't, we've seen it in baseball, we've seen it in hockey. I've seen Philadelphia come back from 3-0. I've seen other teams come back from it. Yes, it's hard to play 4 perfect games in a row, but the Penguins have the horses to do it, and you never count out a Sidney Crosby-led team.